savings, maxing out credit cards, and watching generations of wealth evaporate because of the failures of our insurance companies. These are not just statistics. These are parents spending everything they have to keep a roof over their kids' heads. Their children waking up at night and still afraid. Their seniors trying to live in homes filled with toxic contaminants because they have no place to go. For decades, we paid our premiums faithfully to these companies, trusting they'd stand by us if disaster ever struck.
Say that again.
Now, these same insurers use delays and denials to profit from our pain and steal the future we work so hard to build for our kids. Today, we're standing here to say enough. Because when insurers break their promises, it's not just about money. It's about whether our families will ever be able to come home. As for my own family, we were in the smoke damage category. We moved 9 times with 2 teen girls and 2 cats. It was chaotic and exhausting. One of our daughters experienced disassociation, a trauma response her therapist said was triggered by all the instability. Perhaps the most terrifying part of all this for us as parents is trying to protect our kids from the trauma, but not knowing how to. And yet, my family has been among the luckiest. Our insurer, USAA, paid quickly and fully for testing and remediation, and more testing and more remediation. That gave us a lifeline. 5 months after the fire, we moved home. All this is why, shortly after the fire, I was so shocked and honestly so angry to realize that whether a family was getting back on their feet or sinking deeply into trauma often came down to one thing: which insurance company they were with. Some families like ours were moving steadily through our claims. Others were drowning in problems, rotating adjusters, outrageously lowballed estimates, claims that never moved forward, and denials that lawyers told us were flat out illegal. The gap between what families are owed and what our insurers are paying is often hundreds of thousands of dollars. So here at the EFSN, we've been fighting for months to help every Eaton and Palisades survivor get the payouts we're owed and to turn insurance from a roadblock back into the lifeline that it's supposed to be. Many survivors here have been part of this fight. Our fight has been covered in over 250 pieces across local and national news. The news has reported how we survivors finally pushed the state of California to launch an investigation into the state's biggest insurer, State Farm. We never wanted this fight. The insurance industry is one of the richest and most powerful lobbies in California. State Farm alone spends $6 million a year to influence our state leaders. None of us asked to battle our insurers while trying to protect our kids and put our lives back together, but their delays and denials are pushing thousands of us to the brink. They left us no choice but to stand up and fight back. There's a massive imbalance of power between each multi-billion-dollar company and any single family just trying to survive. Insurers count on us being isolated. They count on families giving up. The only way to change that is to stand together and speak with one voice. When 5,000 survivors come together, that power imbalance starts to shift. Advocates say never before have regulators been forced to confront a major insurer because ordinary people demanded it. We don't have lobbyists or billion-dollar ad budgets. All we have is each other and the spirit to keep fighting for what's right. Today, we are joined by some extraordinary speakers, people who've been personally touched by the LA fires and have stepped up to create a better future for us all. It is my honor to introduce our first speaker. The moment she heard about our fight, she jumped in and used her voice, her power, and her platform to become our #1 champion. I spent 3 decades in global business, media, and public policy, and have rarely met someone with this much heart, courage, and integrity. The people of the San Gabriel Valley are so lucky to have her in our corner. She has not been bought or silenced by the insurance industry, and she never will be, because she is here for us. Her name is Senator Sasha Renee Perez, and it is my privilege to welcome her to the podium.
Thank you, Joy. What I see here today is the power of ordinary people who refuse to be broken. 6 months ago, fire took so much from you, your homes, your memories, and for some, including my friend Zaire, even your loved ones. In the middle of that devastation, you did everything you were supposed to do. You called your insurers. You filed your claims. You believed the contracts you had paid into for years would protect your families. Instead, you were met with excuses, delays, and denials. As Victoria shared, many of you were forced to drain your savings, max out credit cards, and live in unsafe conditions because your insurance companies failed to deliver in your time of crisis. But you didn't give up. You organized. You gathered over 400 firsthand accounts of delays, denials, and underpayments. You reached out to me and asked me to join your fight. You made your voices impossible to ignore. That's the power of community. And because of that determination, the state has launched an investigation into State Farm. This work in our cause goes far beyond Altadena. I want every American watching to hear this clearly. What happens here affects you. California is the largest home insurance market in America. State Farm is the nation's largest insurer and the state's largest insurer. What happens in the coming months will either weaken or strengthen protections for every policyholder in this country. This investigation happened because of you, because of the community members that you see here today, survivors who refuse to stay silent. Even as you work through the trauma of these fires and the failures of the system that was supposed to protect you, you are making things better, not just for yourselves, but for every American family who pays insurance premiums and expects their claims to be honored. I want to be very clear. It is not enough to talk about resilience and recovery. We are doing that. But you all have already shown more resilience than anyone should ever have to. What we need now is accountability for everyone. So today, I stand with you in calling on Governor Newsom and Insurance Commissioner Laura. No more delays. No more granting rate increases. Use every tool available. Expedite this investigation. Release the findings and compel insurers to pay their claims before any rate hikes are even considered. This is the least that we can do. On behalf of every Californian, thank you. To every survivor here, your courage has been seen and it has been so moving. Your voices have been heard, and I am committed to amplifying those voices and fighting alongside you until every family gets the justice and the resources that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Perez, for always standing up for the people of San Gabriel Valley and for all Californians and for all Americans. Our next speaker knows firsthand what it means to not only lose a home or two homes, but family. Zaire Calvin is a community leader who has turned unimaginable personal tragedy into advocacy for everyone impacted. Welcome, Zaire Calvin.
6 months to the day feels like 10 years. It's as everybody, I just want to always try to speak a little from the heart. Um, Delays, denies, and lies. The first thing I want to do is take a moment of silence for the 19 people, actually 21 people who have died, because there's 2 other people who have died after the fire because of complications from the fire. So can we take a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Um, my name is Zaire Calvin. My family, I'm from Altadena, California, obviously. I lost my sister. I was trying to get my daughter and my baby out and my 85-year-old mother out safely that night. It's hard to keep telling the story because it's a lot of pain that the whole community is going through. And me repeating the story about myself is actually hard because I don't like talking about myself. I like talking about the pain of everything that we're going through as a community. So these insurance companies that have taken advantage of us, it has been disrespectful, disheartening, and predatory, to say the least. State Farm, everything that you've brought together for this, it is, people are fighting for their lives every day. All of this, all of my community, all of our community is in pain every single day. Literally, we're fighting for our lives, and every day keeps happening to us. That's the part that people don't realize, that even outside of the fire, life is still lifing for people. People are getting divorced, people have people dying. It's all kind of stuff that's going on. And to have to turn around and fight against insurance on top of all of that is absolutely insane and is devilish, to say the least. The other part that's coming up, I did just finish remodeling my home. The gap between my insurance and my mother's insurance is probably, what we're needing is probably 1.2 million each. The gap that we need is probably 1.2 million each. And that's what's been happening with a lot of our Altadenians. 75% of our Altadenians are underinsured. Even the ones who do have good insurance, they still can't build back the way that they need to or want to. The other part that we don't talk about is our ALE is going to run out and there's no housing. So what are we talking about? What happens when people don't have a place to stay and their insurance money runs out? What are we gonna do? There's no options for that. So I don't want to. Since all of this is going on, I just like to address all of the, excuse me, important things, the real things that's going on. A lot of people live in a bubble and they check us off as a mark. And I just want to make sure that I bring the realness to what's really going on and the pain to power, because that's what the Altadena community is going through. That's why, as the voice in speaking, I'm not going to mince my words when I speak. And I'm not controlled by anybody. I'm not being paid by anybody. I'm literally doing this for my community, because if we don't come back, I can't come back. Our community is us. So it's not about me getting my house rebuilt. It's not about individual getting a house rebuilt. We have to come back as a community, lest we won't have a neighborhood. So it has to do with the whole neighborhood has to be built back. So there is a plan called out. Thank you. Thank you. There is a plan that's being put together that I've been circulating and getting through all of what Altadena has put together. And it's an Altadena native rebuild. It's a community rebuild that will give us a chance to rebuild back. And also Altadena Land Trust, which will be controlled by Altadenians, led by Altadenians, which is the most important part. We're a lot of educated people in Altadena who can control our future, and we know what we want as a community. We do not want it to be parented. We want to be given the power and the resources so we can actually rebuild. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zaire, for your incredible leadership in our community despite your unimaginable loss. I'm glad to welcome next to the stage another survivor, another incredible leader. She is the chair of our Altadena Town Council. She also is leading despite having lost her home and everything that she owns. Please welcome Victoria Knapp.
Thank you, Joy. When the fire came through, my family lost everything: our home, our sense of safety, our stability. Like so many of you, I've been trying to rebuild my life and my family's lives while doing my level best to help this community in every way that I can. As chair of the Altadena Town Council, I've witnessed this heartbreak not just personally, but across hundreds and thousands of households. My role and that of the council is to amplify the voices and stories of Altadenans. Insurance companies are dragging their feet, delaying, denying, and underpaying claims. In the meantime, families are draining their savings, maxing out credit cards, and borrowing just to keep a roof over their heads. People who worked their whole lives to build a little security are now drowning in debt, just trying to cover rent, groceries, medicine, because their insurers won't pay what they're promised. The gaps between what families have received and what it actually costs to clean up and rebuild safely are staggering. This fire has shown us that, often in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not the millions. We've heard testimonials of families being told to move back into toxic, burned homes, parents being told to wash soot out of their children's clothes and keep wearing them while their children are getting sick, neighbors being told the acrid smell of smoke is, quote, just like from a barbecue. I've met neighbors forced to move 7, 9, 11 times because insurers only approve temporary housing a few weeks at a time. How can families find stability when they're living out of suitcases week after week, month after month? This kind of stress takes a toll. People are sick. They're waking up with panic attacks. Some feel like their futures have been stolen. And let's be clear, this isn't just an Altadena problem or an LA County problem or even a California problem. Any person in this country who pays insurance could find themselves in the same fight after a tornado or a hurricane or a flood. Without the payouts we're legally owed, only the wealthiest will be able to rebuild. And the wealthiest do not represent all of Altadena. In Altadena, most families don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars saved to float these costs while they battle insurance for months and years. We need our insurance payouts now to survive and to rebuild. We need insurance companies held accountable. We need them to honor their commitments, pay what they owe, and stop making people suffer twice, once from this disaster and again from the system that was supposed to protect them. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria, for providing such steady leadership to our community, even as your family confronts such devastating loss. Our next speaker has one of the nation's largest philanthropic institutions. Since the fire, he has been leading the philanthropic sector's response to the LA fires. For decades, he has been one of our region's most respected civic leaders. Please help me welcome Miguel Santana.
Buenos dias. I am deeply humbled to be here with all of you. For 6 months ago, this community faced an unimaginable loss. Homes, memories, and lives built over generations were destroyed in just hours. The fires left deep scars, not only in the landscape, but in every family here, including my family. My cousin lost his home here in Altadena. But what I've seen since is not just devastation, it's been incredible resilience. From the very start, the people from across Altadena, Los Angeles, and beyond stepped up. And 47,000 people from around the country and around the world supported the Wildfire Recovery Fund to help for the most immediate needs. You are not alone. You are here supported by people from around the world who know that you're suffering and what you're going through is not just about you, but it's about all of us. But recovery isn't over. Many families are still displaced, as we've heard, waiting on insurance, facing impossible choices and pressure to sell their homes. Survivors here aren't just rebuilding homes, but as we've heard, we're building lives and community. And that is why the California Community Foundation remains committed to being with you for as long as it takes to spend the dollars that we've been able to raise to support the rebuilding of this community on behalf of your community, in the image of your community, not somebody else. And what gives me hope is that survivors aren't waiting for solutions. As you've all demonstrated, you're creating them, you're demanding them as you should. And you're organizing, supporting one another, and leading the way forward. That's why I'm so proud to have co-founded the Department of Angels with Evan Spiegel of SNAP. And we're supporting the incredible work of the Eaton Fire Survivors Network to connect and empower survivors to fight for justice and recovery. And we will have justice. But our work doesn't end with the fires. Many of the same families now face a threat of immigration raids, as we see, risking being uprooted again. We cannot rebuild Altadena without immigrants, caregivers, business owners, workers, who have long been the backbone of this community. Recovery is not just about rebuilding homes, it is about protecting the diversity, the affordability, and the spirit of Altadena, ensuring that everyone can continue to call this place home. And philanthropy can't do it alone. We need bold action from government, insurers, and the private sector. But standing here today, I am filled with hope because this community refuses to be broken. And we stand with you every step of the way as long as it takes. Thank you.
Thank you for
Today, I am filled with hope that we have such powerful leaders here in Altadena, here in our region. Thank you, Miguel, for leading a multi-pronged approach to recovery, which encompasses all issues and all aspects of our lives and all people. Thank you, Miguel. Before we hear from our final speaker, I want to share a statement from Congressman John Garamendi, who's also a former California Insurance Commissioner. He says, "Don't ever let the insurance industry or their enablers claim that rate hikes cannot be tied to whether a company fulfills its contracts. Under California's Prop 103, the insurance commissioner has clear authority. He can compel insurers to pay claims fully and promptly and block any rate increases until survivors are made whole. There should be no doggone rate hikes for companies that break their promises." Our final speaker today is Sierra Koss, co-founder of Extreme Weather Survivors. extreme weather survivors, Sierra is helping build a national coalition to hold insurers accountable because disasters like this don't stop at any state lines. Please welcome Sierra Koss.
She's amazing. My name is Sierra Koss, and I'm a graduate of Palisades High, but I'm here today because I'm one of the co-founders of Extreme Weather Survivors. We are a nationwide community of people harmed by fires, floods, hurricanes, and those surviving extreme heat. We provide care, build community, and make change. I launched EWS because a year ago, right after I became a mom, I found myself driving basically like right by a fire. I left the hospital with my newborn son in the back seat. The sky was orange, ash was flying through the sky like snow. And in that moment, I understood what so many other parents feel, the terror that you might not be able to keep your children safe. Let's be clear, these disasters are not slowing down. The LA fires happened in the dead of winter, just days ago. Flooding in Texas took over 80 lives, many children. 2 weeks ago, this country shattered more than 320 extreme heat records. And while disasters are accelerating and becoming more costly, insurance companies just keep raising rates. They are denying payouts and they're leaving families to shoulder the costs alone. They think it's acceptable to have those that endured the worst pay the most. They think it's normal to collect record profits, which, let's be clear, that is what they're doing. And they think it's normal to collect record profits while their policyholders and communities go without the resources they need. That's why today EWS is supporting our friends at the Eaton Fire Survivors Network, organizing survivors across the country to take action. In Tennessee, Colorado, North Carolina, New York City, and beyond, survivors are gathering and writing postcards to their insurance commissioners, their governors, and also to Commissioner Lara and Governor Newsom. No more rate hikes for companies that fail their policyholders. Together, these postcard parties from coast to coast are calling on our elected officials to address the insurance crisis and finally regulate this industry. In addition, Joy, this is new to you, our friends at Public Citizen and Americans for Financial Reform now have collected, we thought it was 7,000, now 20,000 people, wow. Americans have signed. Signed
A letter supporting us.
Supporting you.
And Palisades survivors.
That's correct.
And calling on Governor Newsom to stop the rate hike until every Eaton and Palisades fire survivor is fully paid out.
Paid out what they're owed. That's right.
Paid out what they're owed.
These disasters are here. They're becoming more, they're becoming more frequent and more severe. And we need leadership that meets the urgency of this moment. Not someday, but now. Extreme weather survivors are the fastest growing population in this country. And we need elected officials that start acting like it. Thank you very much.
That is amazing news. I just got that this morning. I mean, we knew that there were signatures being gathered across the country. I did not know that 20,000 Americans have signed a letter to support us. They're standing in solidarity with us, and they're calling on Governor Newsom and Commissioner Lara to exercise the leadership that this moment demands. Governor Newsom has issued an executive order calling for rate hikes, the rate hike process to be expedited. It is a pretty convoluted process. And he says that the process needs to be smoothed out and expedited to ensure a strong and healthy insurance market. Well, a strong insurance market isn't just built on protecting the profits alone. It also requires insurers. It also requires holding insurers accountable to deliver on their contracts to longtime policyholders. And so, Governor Newsom and Commissioner Latta, if you are watching, everyone here today and 20,000 Americans across the nation implore you to expedite the State Farm investigation, release the findings, and ensure State Farm pays what it owes to LA fire survivors before you give them another billion-dollar windfall. Because there should be no doggone rate hikes for companies that break their promises. Thank you to Sierra. Thank you to all Americans for standing with us and showing us what solidarity looks like in action. When survivors across the country, when American policyholders across the country link arms, it sends a message. We are not alone. Insurers count on us being isolated. They count on us giving up. But today proves that we are here together and we will not give up. We never wanted this fight. When our lives are at stake, when our children's future is on the line, but when insurer delays and denials threaten everything, we have no choice but to fight back. We are here together, and we will keep fighting until every Eaton and Palisades fire survivor gets the insurance payouts we're owed so that we can rebuild our homes, our lives, and our communities. Thank you so much for being here today. So today, here's what's next. I will be glad to take any questions from the media. And then those of us who are wearing red shirts are available for on-camera, on-the-record stand-up interviews. You can ask them about insurance, their recovery, any aspect of their recovery that you're interested in. Okay? My political career, you know, it's been a real blessing and a privilege to be able to serve my community in this way. It started out, I didn't mean to do this. I was the admin of a local pickleball WhatsApp, which turned into this community when the fires came tearing through Altadena. I have no interest, no intention or interest in running for public office, if that's what you're asking for.
And even if it was, we need good leaders. So we're not worried about any of that. Anybody who is for the community, we're not going to play that game.
We need good leaders.
We need great leaders. So I have no problem.
He runs, I'll vote for him. Any other questions for me or any speakers? Yes.
Are you going to come out publicly about the buy-ups of properties by corporations and shadow LLCs?
Yeah, I mean, the question is our thoughts about the buying up of Altadena properties by companies, private companies. It's our hope that Altadenans can be able to come back to our homes, come back and have the resources that we need to be able to rebuild our homes in Altadena.
Yeah, that's our hope. And what actions can you take or statements can you make about keeping incorporations out of Altadena?
I mean, as I said, we would like for Altadena to stay in the hands of Altadenans. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.